blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Hi, my name is Tebeleto, and I'm the Youth Club Assistant Coordinator at Believers Care Society, and welcome to our Youth Club. So basically our Youth Club is mainly based on grooming the youth of our communities, developing them into better people so that they understand their purpose, they find their fit again, and then also it helps them with direction in actually what they want in their lives. So I'd like to welcome you to this book club. So the books we'll be talking about today, it's mainly the purpose-driven life. We also have the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and also the Book of Acts. So these are mainly the 4 books that we are focused on, and then now we'll be focusing on the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, together with my amazing students. Now, firstly, I'd like to speak to my first student. I would like to ask you if maybe you can share with us the book that you chose to read.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica and I am a student from BCS, originally from the Val but currently staying in Terfontein. So, the book that I've chose today is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The reason why I chose this book is because me as an individual, I like stocks, I like investments, I like trading and all of those stuff. So basically the book talks about money and it talks about how you can manage it, and it gives us 2 mentalities about rich people and poor people. So then I was so curious to know about this book from a young age since I was still in high school, and then when I came to BCS, apparently we had to do book reviews, which is compulsory to all of the students, and then apparently Rich Dad, Poor Dad was one of the books, and I was like, good shot.
Hi, my name is Itumele Ngomezi. I'm a student at BCS Academy, and the book I've chosen is Poor Dad, Rich Dad, which talks about how to use money and how riches get more richer and poor get more poor. So the book it shows how people use money in a very bad way, so they become more poor. It advises people to use money in a good way so that they can be rich.
Right. Okay, that's lovely. And now for our next participant.
Hi guys, my name is Agnes Longwani from BCS Academy. The book I chose to read is written and narrated by Robert Kiyasoki. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The book is mainly about how you spend your money and how you make your money. The book talks and actually illustrates how the rich get richer and the poor gets poor.
Hi everyone, my name is Nwagazi from BCS Academy. I chose Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The book that I chose, it's talk about the young boy who had 2 fathers. The one was richer and the other father was poor. The book advocates the importance of financial independence. The book advocates the financial independence, and the financial businesses know how to make money and work for it, know how to, in order to become rich, and you have to work for it, not money work for you.
Oh, that's lovely. Still on you, Ngabakazi. I would like you to maybe tell us what you understand by being rich. What what would you explain being rich as or being poor as, according to what you have read from the book?
Okay, according to what I have read the book, being rich, it's not about the state of mind. If you tell yourself that you are poor, obviously you will be poor. And if you tell yourself that you are rich, it is the state of mind of being rich. It's not about how you work, and you have to work for money, not the other way around. Money works for you.
Wow, that's lovely. And that was Ngabakazi. And then now for the other question I'd like to know is that, like, what are other important things that the author highlights throughout the book that you can share with us?
The author highlights that if you work for money, it depends on how you handle your money. You can work for money for maybe 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, but still not knowing the value of money. But if you let your money work for you, you will have more knowledge and have more knowledge about finances as such and how money works for you. That the author mainly says is that you can make money work for you than to work for the money. Working for the money can mainly make you more poor or more middle class. But if you let your money work for you, it grows. It grows to the point of that if you put it in investments, estates, the money can generate more income. The author also illustrates that if you let your liabilities become your assets, and let your liabilities become your assets, that way the money can generate more money for you. Instead of spending more money, you increasing more money.
Wow, that's lovely. We are clearly learning at PCS. That's our motive. So now, still on you, Agnes, can you please tell us that what assets are? Because someone like me who doesn't know what liabilities are or assets are, what's your understanding?
In my understanding, is that assets are things that are more valuable. Assets, I can make example of a car can be your asset, your house can be your asset, and then liabilities are things that keep on making you want to spend more money instead of bringing in more money. Liabilities can be like furniture. If you take furniture on credit, it's the more you will be paying instead of it making money for you to spend and to have. That means if you have more liabilities like furniture, clothes, things like that, they make you spend more instead of they don't generate income for you to have.
Wow, that's lovely. And still on that note, we'll be moving on to our next student. Now, we're still on the important things that the author highlights throughout the book. So we'd like to know what are those things that he highlights about money.
Well, just like the student has said, that things that he highlights on the book is that we need to find ways that of money working for us, not the other way around. He also believes that a temporary problem is a long-term solution, because you cannot say that you're gonna find a job and then when you find that job thinking that your problems are gonna be solved, whereby you're gonna be, when you get salary and you're gonna be paying all those expenses and all of those things that need to come out, and then thinking that you're gonna be off the hook. Meanwhile, it's gonna be something that's gonna be happening each and every month, on and on and on. And that another thing that he also highlighted is that we as people, we must always think out of the box. We mustn't think like what other people think. We must think unique in all our different ways.
Wow, that's beautiful. Now from Itumeleng, can we hear from you on the important highlights about money in Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
The author the author has highlights that the riches, they don't work for money. They have money that work for them. And the poor and the middle class, they work for money. And the most important thing that the author has highlighted is that the riches invest money so that they can have more money to spend. So the author has advised that people must have financial literacy so that they can know how to use money.
Wow, that's beautiful. Still on Itumeleng. Now, do you think that being rich or poor is a state of mind, and why?
Yes, I do think it's a state of mind because people who are poor, they use money in a useless way because they tell themselves that they are poor. So I think if they can change the way they use money and have financial literacy on their mind, they can be rich like others.
So if I just want to understand on that note, is that do you really think that the way I think about money controls how much money I have? Or maybe can that get me more money?
It depends on how you think. If you think that you are poor, even if you can have all the money in the world, you can remain poor because you will use your money in a useless way. But if you think that you are rich, even if you don't have money, you'll be richer because you'll use your money in a good way.
Oh, that's beautiful. And then to Jessica, once again. Jessica, do you think that being rich or poor is a state of mind?
Well, being rich or poor, yes, I believe it is a state of mind because, let me just make an example. Let's say, for instance, you're this individual and you come from a rich family, and because you come from a rich family, you tend to misuse your money in ways that are wrong, for example, drugs and whatsoever, and then you tend to take all of that money, you take your assets, you take your cars, your houses, you sell them. Why? Because you want to feed your drug addiction, and you end up being poor, you end up living in the streets. And then even in the in a poor person's mindset, if you come from an unprivileged background and then you tell yourself that when you grow up you want to be a doctor or whatever, and then with that mentality that you have, you tell yourself that I want to be this certain individual and I'm not going to let any obstacles or rather negative things to distract me. And then as time goes on, you become that successful person because in your mindset already, you have already told yourself that you want to become rich and that you want to become a good person and be financially okay.
Oh, that's nice. And then now I want to know if society contributes to how we think or how we see money.
I think, well, I don't think society contributes because first of all, that money is yours. You are the one who's responsible for it. Whether you use it in a good way or bad way, it's your side. And whether you lose it or not, you are the one who's going to be left alone with all of those problems. And meanwhile, society is just there to give out their opinions about your money.
Oh, so basically you are saying singakhathali ukuthi abantu bazothini.
Exactly.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. Now moving on to Agnes. Agnes, do you think that being rich or poor is really a state of being?
I think being rich or poor, it's your choice actually. You can be born poor but end up rich. You can be born rich but end up poor. So I think it's a state of you knowing what you want in life. Because you can be born in a rich family but end up living as a poor person. And you can be poor, born poor, raised up poor, but you can end up being a rich person who everyone will see as powerful. So I think it goes by how you think and what you want in life. Actually, it's a purpose of life, as I can put it that way.
Oh, okay. And now that we all know that in schools they do some of the highlights. If you can just say from the book, the author highlights some of the things like that in schools they do not teach financial education. Now, do you think the education that they give also contributes to the mindset of a poor man or a rich man?
Yes, I think personally, I think school just teaches you how to be a good employee, not a good employer. Though there are skills that there are workshops that teach you how to be an entrepreneur, but they don't teach you beyond being a good entrepreneur. I think they teach you just how to open a business, how to handle your finances, but they don't teach you beyond that line. And I think school, personally, I think school just teaches you how to be a good employee, how to handle yourself in a workplace, how to work under pressure, and the works.
So can I say I'm rich from my salary? I'm a good employee now. I have a good salary. Am I rich? Is it safe to say that I'm rich? Because maybe, as you say, in my mindset, I'll be a
It's
very
safe to say you are rich because, firstly, you have finances that look after you should anything happen to you. And you are rich because you can pay for expenses that you need. You even have I think leftovers for the things.
Wow, lovely. Now moving on to Ngabakazi. The question is, do you think that being rich or poor is a state of mind?
Well, for me, I think being rich or poor is a state of mind, because what you think, what you prophesy about yourself can become a reality. Being rich, even if you can have all the things, but if you don't know how to use them, it's useless. And you can have money, but if you don't know how to use it wise, you can become poor. It's not about the sum of money you have in your bank balance, but it's about the mind you have, the mindset you have about the money.
Wow, that's beautiful. Now, does the book take sides on this matter? Because now we come to a point where the author highlights the characteristics of a poor man and those of a rich man. So now, do you think he was fair while explaining the matters?
Well, I think it fairly explains the subjects, because both men were very influential to the young boy, and both men worked hard. Also, it gives the young boy the idea of how in future to control his assets and financial assets, all the things that he can do. Both men made an effort to this young boy so that he can be able to differentiate between how to do this and how to do that about money.
Wow, that's beautiful. So maybe can you just give us a hint of what you would do with that money? Because I see that you clearly have a very rich mindset. Okay. So let's say now you are rich. What would you do?
Okay, firstly, I will invest in some businesses, try to open some businesses for future, in case if like something happens, I will know that in future I have something that is waiting for me, so I can invest the money and open businesses.
Wow, that's business. So they say in order to be rich, you need to associate with rich people. So from now on, I'm associating with Ngabakazi. Thank you very much, Ngabakazi. Can we move on to Agnes? Agnes, does the book take sides on both matters, on the rich dad and the poor dad? And also, does it explain clearly on those matters?
I think the book it emphasizes on how people get poor or more poor, and how the rich get more richer. So I don't think the book takes sides. I think it just emphasizes on how people can be useless or useful when it comes to money. I also think that the book, it shows that some people, they don't work, they don't want to be poor just because their situations are poor. It's the situation. Sometimes you work for money because you have needs, and those needs, they won't just sort out themselves. They need money. So what the poor people are doing, I guess, they use up all their money, and they are not given the chance to experience the investments and the buying the estates and all that, because I think they are not fully up into knowledge of investing and starting businesses.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, maybe lastly, can you just share with us what are some of the things that I can do as an individual, or you can do, or maybe even your fellow students can do in order to be rich?
So far, I wouldn't put up the option of saving. It's hard to save when you're doing everything by yourself.
Okay.
But you can try to save. Maybe open a small business that can bring in that extra income, Yana.
Okay.
And then you can try investing in other people. Maybe when someone has a business idea, try to invest with the little you have. Try to invest, because that investment can go a long way.
Oh, thank you very much. Moving on to Jessica. Now, Jessica, do you think that the author fairly explains both subjects?
Well, the author, being honest, I think he was being fair, because by the book he explains the mentality of a poor man and also the mentality of a rich man, and then you could tell the difference. So whereas those two boys, they had to choose. So knowing that there are two sides of a rich man and a poor man, so they had to choose and pick if whether is this the road, or rather the path that they want to take, or the opposite one.
Oh, lovely. I heard that you love investments and stocks. Can you just share a little bit with us what you do with the money?
Well, me as Jessica, if I had to be rich, honestly, I think the first thing I would do would be to go into property. I am very much interested into properties, and I believe that property is a long-term investment. Property, whether it can be after 10 years, you know that the value of a house, as years go by, also the value of it also increases every year. So hence I'm saying property is my thing.
Oh, that's lovely. And finally, we have Itumeleng. Itumeleng, do you think that the author was fair in explaining both roles of the poor dad and the rich dad?
The author explained very well the subject, because it explained that both fathers were educated, and the one who became poor is the one who was very educated, who went to all universities and who graduated. So I think the author explained very well the subject. So on my side, I took the book as an advice, because it advised a lot on how to use money and how to create things that will make you be richer.
Wow. And what would you do with the riches?
As for me, because I'm a lazy person, if I could have all the money in the world, I could start by creating something that will bring money to me. I will create something that will create jobs for others. I want to own businesses, lot of business.
Wow.
So I also don't like to see poor people outside. I will create some jobs for them. So that's what I can do.
Wow, that's lovely. Now, would you recommend this book to your friends?
Yes, I can, because it could help. It is going to help everyone. on how to use money. It's going to help because a lot of people use money in the wrong way. People have money out there, but they don't know how to use it, and they do want to be rich.
Oh, okay, that's lovely. This was our learners, our students. You heard that we have very rich individuals here. We are grooming better people. We are developing a very, very better youth. So that was our review on the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad.